Hello, good morning to you guys. Happy Monday, happy February 14th, and happy Valentine's Day. My name is Tessa, and you're watching my channel. So we are going to be doing a collective oracle and tarot reading for February 14th, 2022 for Valentine's Day. I pulled out my Amor et Psyche oracle deck, so pretty excited to be using this deck again. It's kind of been a minute. And then I'm going to be using Influence of the Angels Tarot. Also been a minute since I've used this deck. This was my favorite deck for a really long time when I first started this channel. That was the deck that I used, so I'm kind of excited to be pulling these back out. For the Amor et Psyche, I might read a little bit from the book. Just because, I don't know, like I kind of think that the little stories in here for the cards are kind of cool, but we'll see. I guess it just kind of depends. But yeah, FYI, the cards are pretty graphic, okay, just so you know, for this deck. This is a, mature audience channel anyway, but yeah, so the cards are pretty graphic. So if we pull out some cards, it's got some, to me, they're very artistically tasteful though, like erotic art type of thing. But I'm definitely going to show you guys, okay? I like to show the cards because I think the cards are cool, so I'll bring it up to the camera. But yeah, so without further ado, let's get started. Let's see what we got going on for the collective. I don't really have any announcements or anything. I mean, I'm still gonna, I'm pretty sure that this week I'm going to start working on my South Node, North Node video for you guys, because that has kind of been something on my list for weeks now. So I'm pretty sure that's going to happen this week, my South Node, North Node video. So stay tuned for that. Yeah, and then my Aquarius through the houses video will be coming out either this week or next week. So stay tuned for that as well. I might just do both this week because I have kind of an semi-open schedule right now. All right, what do we have going on for the collective in regards to love? What do we have going on in the collective in regards to love? All right, so we have Love's Embrace. Okay. So for some of you, there could be someone that you are trying to get their attention, okay? For some of you out there, you're trying to get somebody's attention. You're trying to kind of get someone to show some kind of affection towards you, to show interest, or to show some kind of, like you might have been, maybe throwing some signals out there. You might have been, kind of opening your heart in a way that, makes it, so you're opening yourself up. You're opening yourself up to love. You're embracing it. You're being open to it. You're embracing it. But, maybe your person or the person that you do have these kind of like affections for are just not really noticing. They're more closed off, they're kind of closed off to it. I don't know. So yeah, let's see what else we got here. We have doubt and indecision. So it looks like, the person that you are interested in is just not really, like, they're just kind of having a hard time deciding if, this is something that they are wanting with you. So it's not really like, honestly, what I see here is, there's always the possibility that there's other options. And they just don't know, like, which way they want to go, okay? There could be, like, they could have definitely some, they could definitely be thinking about this more, like, rationally rather than actually, like, following their heart. Like, if there's, like, doubt and indecision, usually that plays out in the mind, and that individual is like overthinking things, right? It usually takes place in the mind, and they like overthink things. And in all honesty, like, if they're not just straight up following their heart, if they're not following their heart and they're like in their head about it, you know, like, that's not, you know, like, your heart is open, but if their heart is not open and they're just kind of more like going with the flow and just kind of, you know, allowing different options to come their way, and you know, to kind of, and then they just kind of like get lost in thought or like fantasy, like they could be more in the fantasy place of it, where you're more in the heart space of it. And then we have sweet surrender. So like overall, I guess the way that I'm seeing, trying to show you guys these cards because they're really cool. You can't really see with the glare, but the things are there. They're there. Sorry, I like literally just got out of bed like 30 minutes ago, so looking a little rough. But okay, let's kind of like put this little story together over here. So what I'm feeling here is that you opened your heart. Okay, you opened your heart to someone, but not in like, you know, like your heart is open, and that's good. That's really good when your heart is open. And you are, you know, people who surrender themselves to love, to the love they have inside, okay? When you surrender yourself to the love, oh my God, my allergies, again. Sorry, guys. When you surrender yourself to the love that you have inside you, there's nothing bad that can come from that. There's nothing bad that can come from that. It's when you start to get attached to only one outcome. It's when you start to, you know, put all your eggs in one basket. It's when you start to, like, being, just generally speaking, being open to love and to giving love and to receiving love is a really, really good thing. And like, it is a sweet surrender. It is a sweet surrender when you allow yourself to just like be like kind of like in love with yourself, right? And when you allow yourself to just kind of feel that love, if someone does not want that from you, then they don't want it from you. Someone else will want it from you. You know what I mean? Like, I guess what I'm saying is like, don't expect it from just one person, because this is where we get heartbroken. This is where things kind of get fucked up, because, you know, you want that love from a specific person, but then when they don't give it to you, you're like, oh, it's over and I'll never be no, you know, like, just like, if you're in love with yourself, then it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who loves you and who doesn't love you, because you're just feeling good. You're in love with yourself, and the person who wants to show you that they love you is going to do it, okay? You know, a lot, and, you know, you guys have to understand, too, that a lot of people out there don't even know how to love. They don't even love themselves. Like, you know, for a lot of them, love is just a game. For a lot of them, it's just a fantasy. It's just this thing. They don't actually understand the principles of love. They don't understand the principles of, like, and the value of, like, love and self-love and, you know, actually nurturing a relationship. And, you know, like, this is something that I've kind of been randomly kind of discussing on Facebook with people, but, like, you know, like, for me, like, one of the biggest issues, like, I guess you could say biggest issues that I always had in my love life is, like, I always put love before commitment. To me, like, love is more important than commitment. Like, I'm not gonna, you know, and I always kind of got this, this vibe. I always kind of got this energy from my lovers or partners that, like, with me opening up my heart and expressing my feelings, that means that I'm wanting commitment, or that means that I'm, like, you know, and it would, like, push them away. And I'm like, what? Like, you have this all wrong, because the way that and like, it would make me so angry that I felt so misunderstood. I felt so misunderstood because I knew for a fact, I knew that if the person that I'm with is not able to open their heart, if they're not able to be vulnerable with me, and they're not able to be sensitive and you know, have an open heart and be that way with me, then I'm not gonna commit to you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, there is, like, it's not even, but if you're not gonna be honest with me, like, even if I'm saying, like, oh yeah, I want to get, you know, I don't know, something one day, but if you're just being completely closed off because you're just trying to, you know, you're just playing the game, and you don't want to express your emotions, like I'm, like, for me, like, I'm at a point where it's like, I will not, like, you know, I used to just, like, jump into bed with someone. If I really liked someone, I would just, like, jump into bed with them. But it's like, I can't even do that anymore. I literally can't even do that anymore, because, like, I realize, like, wow, you know, it's so not okay that people are not really able to be open. It's like, it's not okay. It's not okay for me personally, it's not okay to intertwine. Like, I'm being reckless with my own soul, and I'm being reckless with my own body if I am choosing to intertwine my emotions and my soul and my body with another individual whose heart is not in the right place. If their heart is not in the right place, you can hook up with someone whose heart is in the right place, who has a good heart, and who is open, and who is vulnerable, and who understands how valuable it is to find meaning in connections. You can have those types of connections with people and not be in a commitment with them. You can have those types of, like, meaningful, loving kinds of, you know, like, relationships or lover relationships, and still not necessarily be in a commitment. So I'm just putting that out there because, you know, it's just, like, it's really, but I think that, you know, I'm gonna get gender related over here, so if you've got something to say about it, go ahead. But for the most part, but this is not just, like, my opinion, this is pretty, I think this is pretty biological, in all honesty. Like, men tend to be less emotional, right? And women tend to be, you know, like, more emotional, right? And men are kind of like, they're a little bit more ego-driven, okay? They're a little bit more self-driven than women, where women seek to make connections. Women want to make connections, like, meaningful connections. And emotions play a huge role in that. Now, you know, men have been taught not to express their emotions, and, you know, they need to be the fighters or the breadwinners or this or this or this, you know, and, you know, a lot of them don't really know how to open themselves up in that way. So it can be very, very tricky. And, but I think for the longest time, women were kind of, like, apologetic about that, and women kind of, like, would, you know, because, like, women are so loving and they do have such big hearts, you know, they'll still love their man, or they'll still love their counterpart no matter what, even if that counterpart, because of that unconditional love, right? So they'll love that counterpart and that person despite the fact that, you know, they are not showing those deeper, kind of more meaningful emotions. So, you know, and I'm, as a rebel Sagittarius over here, it's kind of like, I don't really put up with that anymore, because it's like the way that we'll get into the tarot, but it's like the way that I feel about it is, I'm kind of done, like, you know, I'm kind of done catering to a man's emotions, like, because women are always catering to a man's emotions, and men don't cater to a woman's emotions ever. And like throughout history, they have never catered to a woman's emotions. It's always the other way around. And okay, yeah, we live in a country of like democracy, quote unquote. I mean, I don't really know how democratic our democracy is. I kind of think it's bullshit. But like the truth and the reality is that no, there is not equality. There is not, you know, women have been advancing and developing because they have been adapting to the habits of men, not the other way around. A majority of successful women, and this is just my opinion, if you want to throw stones at me, go ahead, but I really just feel like, generally speaking, women adapt to the man's ecosystem. Women adapt to the more, you know, to the way of life that I guess you can say men have created, as opposed to truly like following their heart. You know, I mean, I definitely do think that, you know, women follow their hearts when they go after certain objectives and things like that. But I mean, there is a point in time that I feel with most women where they kind of had to realize that they have to let go of their feelings if they want to become successful. They have to step back from their more emotional nature. So, and I do think that. So those are my observations. That is my perspective. That is how you know, I am very, very much in touch with my heart, and I'm very much in touch with my soul, and all the information. I am like, you know, I really do kind of feel like the High Priestess card, because like all the information that I get and that I share with people and that I share with you guys, that shit comes from the deepest parts of my heart and the deepest parts of my soul. And it's like, it really comes from this place of love. It really does come from like, this is truly how I see the world. This is truly how I view things. And like, I have so much love to give. It's insane. Like, I have so much love to give. It's insane. But I also realize that I am not widely popular. Like, I am not, my approach and, you know, me wanting to be successful just by being me, by following my heart, by saying, no, I am not going to conform to your world. I am not going to conform to your society, because your society is wrong. It's wrong. Like, your society is bullshit to me. Like, your society is like, you know, people would rather like attack each other for shit than actually like, I don't know, like, I mean, I'm not like, like I said, as a Sagittarius, like, I'm not opposed to like people saying, you know, what they think and shit like that. But I guess what I'm saying is like, if it's not like, we can argue. Like, I get into fights with my brother all the time. But at the end of the day, it always comes from a place of love. We still love each other, but we'll fight, right? But it's like, sometimes you really have to wonder if people really are coming from a place of love. You know what I mean? You have to wonder if people really are coming from a place of love sometimes, because if it's like, you have to keep yourself balanced. If all you are showing in the world, if you are only showing one side of yourself to the world, then it's going to be difficult to think that you actually have other sides of you, right? You know, because I can get, when it comes to politics, oh my God, like I can get really, really ruthless when it comes to politics. Like I have very, very specific opinions and, you know, and very specific, and it's not just opinions, it's my heart. It's my heart. It's my soul. You know, my political opinions come from a very, very, very deep part of me, because it is connected to my spirituality. Okay. So, yeah. Okay. Let's just jump back into this tarot. So, you know, but I think that, you know, there's gotta be a point in time where, I don't know. There's gotta be a point where people are just like, okay, you know, maybe this fighting is getting a little bit too crazy. Let's take a step back and actually like say what we're really feeling, right? Like, what is it that we really want, you know? To be heard, to be respected, to have the same opportunities as others. I mean, it's a whole slew of things, but, okay, let's pull some tarot cards here. All right, collective. Yeah, so sweet surrender is literally just about like, it's really just like loving yourself. You're surrendering to love, period. You're surrendering to love, period, okay? And if you don't get it from a certain person, then they're either playing games, or if they don't want to give you, but if they don't want to nurture the love that you have for yourself, like it's so important to have that love for yourself, because if you end up having some kind of affection for someone that doesn't want to return that kind of love, then it's just going to hurt you. So it's going to be important to remain open. Okay, Two of Swords, we have the moon in Libra. So this is about making a decision, okay? So this could even be you, like you know, your heart might be in a place right now where it's like, it's not really able to decide, you know, like, you know, you could just be like, well, I don't really know which way to go now. But, and that's where like another two of wands, you know, it's like, there is a passion that you feel, I think towards a particular person, but you're still feeling kind of undecided. And the Two of Wands is kind of saying like, well, what is your heart telling you? Like, follow your heart, you know, like, and also like, you don't really know unless you kind of like reach out, right? So you don't really, like you won't know unless you take that first step. So even if you did have your eye on one particular person, you know, I mean, how do you know that they won't be interested in you, right? So you have to take that first step. If that's where your heart is following you, then that's what you need to do, right? Queen of Wands, Aries energy. Two of Wands is also Aries energy. This is a very, very passionate, strong, charismatic lady over here, okay? Now this is just, you know, this is just energy. This is feminine energy. You know, she likes to have her fun. She likes to have her fun. And when she, you know, and she's very, very passionate. So she is going to say exactly what she feels. And it's going to come out. And like when she says what's in her heart, it's going to come out very passionately. And it's going to come out very like in a very playful and in a very playful kind of way. Unless she's really angry, then it might come out in a really. And then we have the Sun. We have the Sun card. Okay, so there is definitely happiness over here. And I feel this very much as like self-happiness. I feel this very much as just like But this is also happiness in regards to like, you could actually be connecting with someone, or someone could be reaching out to you, okay? You might actually get the, that kind of like recognition that you've been wanting, that you deserve, right? But there's some light shining over here, okay? We have the Ten of Pentacles, Virgo and Mercury energy, or Mercury and Virgo energy, excuse me. Thinking about your legacy, focusing on money. Let me see what else we got here. Six of Pentacles, Moon in Taurus. Offering some charity. I'm going to just pull the rest of the cards and we're going to put it all together. We have the Eight of Wands, Mercury and Sagittarius. Some messages coming in here. And then we have the Ten of Wands. Okay, I'm feeling this as your other person. Like, I just got this like really strong energy that this up here is like you, and then this over here is like your person. Ten of Wands, we have Saturn in Sagittarius. So you're like, for the most part, like you are in this really open place. Like you want your happiness. Your heart is open. You might be undecided. Perhaps you feel a little stuck just in regards to like you could be a little bit in your head about it, not really knowing how to approach the situation, not really knowing like how to, you know, what to do, like following your intuition, a little bit unsure. I get it. I get it, because it's like, for me, sometimes like I really just want to let my emotional side take over, because it does. My emotional side will take over, because I get so angry with how like, you know, unappreciated I'll feel sometimes. And then like I balance myself back out and I just like love myself all over again. And it's like, I feel like the trick, especially if you are overly emotional and if you are really sensitive, and if you do need to, you know, be a bitch, or, you know, say things that could hurt someone, I feel like the most important thing is to love to love yourself for it. The moment that you start to put yourself down for acting that way, behaving that way, the moment you start to put yourself down for it, you gotta love, you have to love that you are willing to fight for your beliefs. You have to be proud of the fact that you are willing to stand up for yourself and fight for your heart and fight for your soul. Now, with that being said, I feel like this other person over here, they could definitely be focusing on some family issues. They could be focusing on money. There could be a lot of people who are dependent on them. But it also looks like there might be some communication coming in, either directly towards you, or I don't know, there's some kind of fast movement going on here. But this person is feeling really burdened, okay? Feeling very burdened by all the things that they need to carry within them, okay? There's probably a lot going on in this person's life, and they're just kind of overwhelmed with the amount of burdens that they're carrying, okay, in regards to needing to work, perhaps needing to provide. Now they could already be in a partnership and have children. So, I mean, you know, for some of you, maybe it's time to let that go. But it could also just be, just generally speaking, like a family situation that is kind of keeping them occupied. You know, with the Six of Pentacles here, there is the sense that they do care very deeply about others. Okay, they do care very deeply about you, if they know you, and about others. But they're definitely feeling burdened. There's definitely a kind of burden over here. And the burden could be in regards to like communicating with you. The burden could be in regards to like maybe not knowing like what to say, or not knowing, I don't know, like, yeah, just like not really knowing how to maybe express the burdens. Okay. They could have a lot of burdens and not know how to express those burdens. Okay. Because biologically speaking, you know, men, you know, if we're talking about men here, like they have been taught not to, you know, not to show weakness, and only to show strength, and not to, you know, not to, put themselves out there like that. Unfortunately, the idea of showing your emotions being weakness is a total myth. That's actually a huge myth. Because both men and women need to express those deeper parts of themselves. It's actually extremely unsustainable to keep it in. Okay. Those deeper feelings and emotions and the burdens that we carry inside our heart, and it is typically, for men, it is typically that men tend to kind of keep that stuff inside of them. It is actually unsustainable. It doesn't help you if you are this person, and it doesn't help the people around you, because there's always going to come a point, there's always going to be a breaking point, and then that breaking point tends to kind of like really create some massive wreckage, you know. It does look like there is a lot of, you know, there could actually be some victory here, because the Ten of Wands does, we have the 10 over here and the 10 over here, because the 10 of Wands does also it reaches the end of its cycle. So 10 is the last card in the Wand series, right? 2 through 10. And with the 8 of Wands kind of pushing this energy through, it does actually feel, there is this energy that that it's going to come out. There is this energy that, you know, the burdens will be released. You know, the burden within your own heart. If this is you listening to this, I am definitely feeling that, so whichever energy you are over here, I'm definitely feeling two different energies. Whichever one you are, I am definitely feeling like a release of energy is going to come through. It is going to push through. And then once you release that energy, once you kind of get it off your chest and just kind of release it, it's going to be like a breath of fresh air. It's going to feel like super, super good. Okay. Let's see. I think I'm just going to pull, so I'm kind of feeling just to pull one more card. So I'm going to pull one more card from the 𝚁𝚎𝚟𝚘𝚕 Oracle deck, and then we're going to wrap it up, because I was like, should I clarify? But that's not what I was feeling. I was kind of just feeling like erotic bliss. Woo! You know what? This is really fascinating. Erotic bliss, because like I literally was telling my girlfriends this over Instagram, that like releasing energy, when you release a lot of energy from your heart and you say how you feel and you just kind of like let go and you just open yourself up and you just kind of get that shit off your chest, it is, sometimes it's better than sex, okay? It's like, it feels so good, like emotionally. It's like an emotional high. It feels so good to just like free yourself of emotional burdens. You have no idea. It's like, it is literally one of the best feelings. Like, And I have done that in many, many different ways, okay? Like, I have had to literally just, like, tell people off and kick people out of my life because I was just so fed up with, like, their inability to just, like, establish any kind of meaningful kind of, like, connection with me. It was like I was high on my own emotions. It literally felt like I was high. But yeah, erotic bliss. So this can go so many different ways. Like, and you know, when you are able to share your emotions with another person and both of you are really able to be so open with each other, if you're really able to be so incredibly open with your partner or with another person, it's fucking heaven. I mean, like, y'all can just take that shit to a whole other level, okay? Erotic bliss, like, you know, but just understand that you can reach that point by yourself. Like, just understand that you can absolutely worship the fuck out of yourself because of how strong you are and how just, like, open you are to like, how open your heart is, okay? And you can actually reach that level of ecstasy and, like, even eroticism within yourself without anybody being around you, okay? Promise that. But yeah, it's like, reach that point where it's like enough is enough. I love myself way too much to be fucking around. Like, it's like, sometimes you reach a point where it's like, you know, like, sex is, it just, like, you know, like, you just reach a point where it's like, you can't, like, people are not satisfying you, right? If they can't satisfy you emotionally, you know what I mean? Like, because that emotional energy, when you're able to connect with someone emotionally, that energy is like fucking, it's just, it's like another level of dessert, okay? It's it's erotic bliss, okay? So yeah. I guess that's what I have for you guys. Okay, so this is my Valentine's Day collective reading special. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And stay tuned because I think I'm going to be putting out a couple more videos this week. Okay, so subscribe to my channel and I'll see you next time. Bye.